It certainly appears to be a Heil Hitler.
That salute was evocative of things that we have seen through history.
The mainstream media has apparently learned absolutely nothing, and we're in for a rough couple of years if this level of delulu keeps up. Mainstream media outlets push a pretty wild hoax about Elon Musk and Donald Trump. We're going to talk about that and so much more on today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast, my daily show where I take on the craziest ideas from across the internet, our politics, and our media, all from an independent perspective. Up first, I've been critical at times of Elon Musk. I appreciate a lot about the guy, but he's no saint, he's hardly perfect, and he's certainly not above criticism. But it's fair to say that that criticism should at least be based in reality. And the current bout of criticism that Elon's getting after speaking at Trump's inauguration ceremonies is not remotely based in reality. Mainstream media outlets are actually suggesting that he performed a Nazi salute on stage. Here's the clip of what Elon actually did.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you.
As you heard in that full clip, although this context has been cut out of the little bit that's going viral online, he says, "My heart goes out to you," to the people, the audience, and then touches his heart and then points out to the crowd. It's an awkward gesture. It's one he probably shouldn't have made because it comes off a little strange, but it's not a freaking Nazi salute, guys. Yet that is actually how mainstream media is presenting it to the American public. PBS News posted, billionaire Elon Musk gave what appeared to be a fascist salute Monday while making a speech at the post-inauguration celebration for President Donald Trump at the Capital One Arena. Here's some of their on-air coverage as well.
Stephanie, there was a now controversial moment earlier today where Elon Musk gave these back-to-back gestures that people are saying mimicked a Nazi salute. You see it there. Help us understand what transpired.
Oh, we did see Mr. Musk during that speech, and we saw the gesture. I don't know whether the audience here interpreted it the way it was subsequently interpreted on social media. It certainly appears to be a Heil Hitler. But at the time, what he was saying, we went back to the transcript, and I remember him saying it, is he was saying, "My heart goes out to you." So he was gesturing to his chest. And then, of course, there was the hand straight out, which harkens back, of course, for a lot of folks to the Nazi salute. But we didn't see that reaction here. There wasn't like a gasp or a pause or any even reinforcement of the gesture. So it's a little hard to tell from where we sat the meaning of it.
They were not the only ones pushing this argument. CNN pretty much suggested the same thing in their on-air coverage.
Standing ovation for Elon Musk, by far the biggest reception of the day. You saw him come out with that odd-looking salute.
Yeah.
It was odd-looking. We're going to show a screen grab of it.
Yes, that salute was evocative of things that we have seen through history. I think it's worth noting that Elon Musk has started to play in politics, not just here, in the United States, but across Europe as well, including a far-right party in Germany.
Leaders in the Democratic Party also immediately hopped on this narrative. Congressman Jerry Nadler, who's a member of the House leadership in the Democratic side, tweeted, "I never imagined we would see the day when what appears to be a Hail Hitler salute would be made behind the presidential seal. This abhorrent gesture has no place in our society and belongs in the darkest chapters of human history. I urge all of my colleagues to unite in condemning this hateful gesture for what it is, anti-Semitism." When the pro-Jewish advocacy group, the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, pointed out on Twitter that this was clearly not intended as a Nazi salute, AOC clapped back at them. The Congresswoman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, wrote in a tweet, "Just to be clear, you are defending a Hail Hitler salute that was performed and repeated for emphasis and clarity." Even members of the Democratic Party with something of a reputation for being more serious or more bipartisan also hopped on this hoax. Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut tweeted, "It's not a gaffe. It's back-to-back, clear as day Nazi salutes. Except for the part where it's literally not, though. I mean, we can all watch the footage for ourselves over and over again, not the deceptively edited 2-second clip that liberal accounts are sharing, but the part where he repeatedly says, "My heart goes out to you." Then the gesture he makes is touching his heart and then pointing out to the crowd. It is an awkward gesture, sure. It looks weird. He really shouldn't have done it, but we all know Elon might be brilliant, but he's also clearly autistic and somewhat socially awkward and maybe doesn't always do the right or appropriate thing. But you really think, these people really expect us to believe that Elon would perform a Nazi salute on stage, on camera? Even if Elon Musk was a Nazi, even if Donald Trump was a Nazi, which they're not. Okay, Elon is not a Nazi. It's just crazy town. Criticize him all you want. To suggest he's a Nazi is absurd. He's, in fact, quite pro the Jewish people in many ways in his recent political history and advocacy. But more importantly, even if somehow he was, he would never purposefully do that on stage. Like, you'd have to believe they're stupid and don't even have the common sense to know that they couldn't do that publicly, even if that was how they felt, which it isn't. There's a pretty simple rule of thumb that the simplest and most obvious explanation for something is usually the explanation for that thing. And which is more likely? That Elon decided to go on stage at Trump's inauguration celebration, where he wants Trump to succeed and have a good presidency. He's put all his capital into supporting this guy, and purposefully tank it by repeatedly doing a Nazi salute, or that he made an awkward gesture that came out weird while trying to communicate a sentiment that clearly had nothing to do with Nazism or fascism. I think people with common sense, whether they are Trump supporters or not, can understand that the second scenario is almost certainly the case, and that it is wildly unfair and dramatic and irresponsible for media outlets and politicians alike to jump on such a serious accusation and smear when it's clearly not founded. And here's what I worry about. This is the kind of thing that really characterized the mainstream media during the first Trump era. Taking everything that happened around Trump and in his orbit and spinning it with the worst possible explanation, including in cases where sometimes they were totally distorting what he said. They were misleading or misrepresenting what he did or what he said to the nth degree, and they lost a lot of credibility and public trust because people at a certain point figured out they were not being honest with us, and their viewership went down, their reputation went down in the eyes of the public, their trust went down, and then when they actually called out bad things that Trump did, it was very easy for people who were sympathetic to Trump to dismiss it all as just more mainstream media bias or another hoax or what have you, because there had been quite a number of things the mainstream media perpetuated that were hoaxes, that were not true about Trump. For years, they told us he was literally a Russian asset controlled by Putin, and that there was collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. Then that turned out to not be true at all. It's just one example, but gosh, I really hope we're not going down this path again, where the mainstream media and enemies of Trump are just going to take the most alarmist tone possible, overreact and freak out about anything that happens in his orbit, and in the process, discredit themselves as actual critics, because some of the things that he does, I think, will need to be pushed back on or criticized or scrutinized at the very least by an honest media. But you can't do that if nobody takes you seriously because you're constantly crying wolf over ridiculous nonsense like this whole Elon Musk thing. I saw this tweet from somebody, and I don't know anything about her politics or her background, but she quote tweeted some obnoxious progressive who said, "Historian of fascism here, that was a Nazi salute, and a very belligerent one too." To which this person wrote, "Really looking forward to another 4 years of living in a completely bifurcated social reality where the competing political narratives don't even share basic facts." Oof. That one hit home because I think that's where we're going. I think that's where we might end up. And that is not a good thing for the American public, for our democracy, or for our country, for our relationships with people that disagree with us, where we no longer have shared facts, a shared reality that we can then disagree about, like, okay, what's the right thing to do? But we at least are having the same conversation or existing in the same universe. Well, when it comes to Trump, we really don't have that, increasingly so. We didn't when he was president before, and we don't now. Partially that's because Trump himself is very flexible with the truth. Okay, he tells a lot of fibs or exaggerations or lies and sticks to narratives that aren't true sometimes, even when there's evidence to the contrary. But also because the media lies about him so much and makes mountains out of molehills constantly, that if all you get is your news from MSNBC or CNN, you will live in a totally different universe than a Trump supporter who listens to Trump and maybe Fox News or Newsmax. And it's like, how can we have common ground when we don't even have shared facts and shared reality? If media does anything in this second Trump presidency, it should be trying to be fair and honest and present both sides of things and present the truth about things, even if it cuts against Democrats, even if it looks good for Trump on a certain issue. Report the truth, report the facts, stop the spin, stop the lying, stop the exaggeration. And Trump, I mean, he'll never change, but I would love it if he was more honest as well, because if we don't have a shared reality, at some point, our political system will fracture to the point where it becomes difficult to impossible for us to have a shared country. What do you guys think? Are you surprised to see them pushing such a blatant hoax about Trump and Elon already? Unfortunately, I'm not surprised, but I am depressed and alarmed because of what this suggests about the near future of politics in our country. But let me know your thoughts. I'd love to read the comments and hear what you guys have to say. And do hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Up next, some of our left-wing influencer friends over on TikTok are not coping well. Chief among them is Democratic talking head Harry Sisson, who's kind of crashing out in a video he posted now that Trump is president. Take a look.
It's day one of Donald Trump's administration, so let's just take a look at how things are going already. Egg prices have not come down. Gas prices have not come down. Housing prices have not come down. Grocery prices have not come down. This is after Donald Trump said that the effect of his policies would be felt almost immediately.
Bro, he did not. He did not just check prices the literal day after inauguration and say, see guys, prices haven't gone down yet. Trump lied to you. Bro, it's literally been not even a full day. It has not been 24 hours at the time he posted this video of Trump being president. If Trump said on day one, I will bring costs down, or that's like political rhetoric. Okay, no one literally meant the second he became president, everything would get cheaper. That's insane, and you're making a fool of yourself. And to be clear, I don't think Trump will be able to bring prices down. What he may be able to do is stop the increases, flatten out the increases, which have come down but are still above the norm. And he may be able to do that if he rolls back some of the policies that contributed to high gas prices, high food prices, high consumer inflation. He may be able to slow that. And if wages go up, then real prices relative to income for these things may go down. But the actual sticker prices, very rarely in a modern economy do you see deflation, negative changes in price levels. That's probably not going to happen. And I know Trump says that it will, but that's kind of his typical bluster. But he may be able to make life more affordable again if we have strong economic growth, if people's incomes go up, and if price increases flatline. That would mean that people can afford things better and prices will go down in effect in terms of their real income, but actual prices going down is probably not going to happen. And certainly no one ever expected it would happen 12 hours after he became president. Harry, put down the crack pipe, bro. You've had enough. This to me is just a great example of partisanship breaking your brain. Like, I was a huge critic of Biden, but I don't think I ever made such a wildly insane take attacking him, because at some point you have to maintain your own credibility and integrity. But there's more to Harry's little video here.
Trump also threatened war with Panama during his inauguration speech. And just now, Elon Musk did a German World War II salute, if you're catching my vibe, while he was speaking at one of Donald Trump's inauguration events.
Well, that's a lie. As we just talked about, Elon touched his heart, saying, "My heart goes out to you," and then gestured out to the people. It was not a Nazi salute. It's a vicious lie. It's the worst, most bad faith possible interpretation of this based on a 2-second clip without context that doesn't even make sense. Even if Elon was some secret Nazi, he is not stupid enough to actually do a Nazi salute in public at a rally on camera. That would be insane. And asking us to believe that strains credulity well beyond its breaking point. The much more likely explanation is that he's an awkward, kind of autistic dude who did a weird hand motion without realizing it, how it could be misconstrued. He is not a Nazi. You don't have to love Elon Musk, but he's not a freaking Nazi. And you reveal yourself to be a partisan, bad faith actor when you make these worst possible faith interpretations and smears of the people who disagree with you politically. But unfortunately, that's kind of par for the course for a lot of Harry's content.
So if you're MAGA and you voted for this, congratulations, you got played. You got played. Donald Trump and his team are not doing any of the things that they promised they would do.
So that's just not true. I mean, he's already signed tons of executive orders implementing his promises on immigration, DEI, the federal government's policies for its employment, like a freeze and like bring people back to work in person. He's already pulled out of the World Health Organization. He's already made a move about birthright citizenship. These are all things he promised people he would do and is immediately doing them. Whether you agree with them or not, to claim he's not doing anything he said he would do is just not true.
They just completely played you and lied to you. Donald Trump thinks that government is a game that he can just play with, and we're seeing that right now. Trump hasn't even been in office for 24 hours, and we're already being embarrassed on the world stage. We tried to warn all of you. We really did.
So that's funny because Harry is talking about embarrassing us on the world stage. And to be clear, sometimes the way that Trump acts a fool, runs his mouth, says wild stuff, is embarrassing to me. But you know what else was embarrassing to me? Having a president with mush for brains in late stage cognitive decline for years, embarrassing the public, embarrassing America, looking confused, not even being in charge of his own administration. And people like Harry were telling us he's sharp as a tack. It's all fine. He's the best president ever. So if somebody's lying to us and not being forthright and not doing what they said they would do, it might actually be you and other Democratic talking head influencers, Harry. But I hope the photo op with Biden was worth it, I guess.
President. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good to be in your cool office, man.
It's a good office, isn't it?
If I was going to sell my soul to a politician, I'd have a higher price. But that's just me. But what do you guys think? Are you surprised to see that this is the tactic that Harry Sisson and other blue and on kind of TikTok influencers are taking so far? Do let me know in the comments. Do hit that like button and do make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. And now we got to talk about something else that Trump just did that's proving pretty controversial. Just a couple days before his inauguration, the president launched something called a meme coin, or more negatively, a shit coin, which is kind of a souvenir digital currency. It immediately blew up in value, and seeing how Trump holds most of this cryptocurrency, his assets soared. But I have some serious questions and concerns about this project. First, take a listen to some coverage from CNBC.
Trump's net worth ballooning over the weekend thanks to that new token. It shot up to around $74 on Saturday, now settling down to around $50. The market cap of that meme token now at about $10 billion. Now, that is only for the 200 million tokens that are issued. There will be a total of 1 billion tokens that could be sold over the next year. So you've got only 20% currently in the market. The other 80% is currently held by Trump's company. Now, if they all sold at today's value, his meme wealth would be over $40 billion. Now, the Trumps have already made around $60 million in fees over the weekend just from all that trading. Eric Trump saying this is all part of a new and growing business sector, and Dollar Trump, that's the meme coin, is currently, quote, the hottest digital meme on earth, and this is just the beginning. Disclosures on the token's website state, quote, Trump memes are not intended to be an investment or security and is not political and has nothing to do with political campaigns or any political office or governmental agency. So, but clearly, Becky, this is the first time we've seen political power translate so quickly into crypto wealth.
So for a moment, this meme coin kind of popped off, surged in value, and some people made a lot of money and were bragging about it online. And there was kind of a rush of people buying into this, hoping to make a quick buck. But the sad part is that almost everybody is going to certainly lose most or even all of their money. These meme coins have no actual purpose or value or use cases whatsoever. They're not like a Bitcoin or other forms of cryptocurrency that have unique properties that give them value. That's why they're called shit coins. That's why they're viewed very derisively by the mainstream crypto community. But you can make a quick buck from them, both in the fees that are charged. So according to that report, Trump's already made like 60 million in the fees on the transactions. And then also, if you hold a lot of it and then sell it off when it's at its highest point, which we don't know whether Trump has done that, you can make money before it crashes. That's what the influencer Haley Welch, aka the Hawk Tuah girl, did that got her in so much trouble a couple of weeks ago. But Trump, as far as I've seen, hasn't done that yet. The other difference here is that Trump, to be fair to him, did warn people up front that this is not an investment. But that said, a lot of the hype online was about people making tons of money. So a lot of Trump supporters may have gone and bought this thinking they were going to make a buck. But the value's already started to plummet, and it will probably continue to do so. That's usually what happens with these kinds of coins. So while I don't necessarily think that what he's doing is illegal, because he has these disclosures and probably has a team in place that crossed his T's and dotted his I's, and to be fair, he did warn people pretty clearly on the website when they were buying it. So to some extent, it's their own fault for playing stupid games if they lose money. I find this really gross. Like, he's going to make a lot of money for himself, but he's already rich, and launching a meme coin just seems kind of trashy. If you're supposed to be a rich person, why do you need to do this kind of low rent thing? And most of his supporters who participate in this are going to lose a lot of money. I wouldn't want to do that with my fan base if I was as popular, as influential as Trump is, especially if I'm already rich. What's the point? Like, at least with a Hawk Tuah girl, she'll get her bag, but Trump's already a billionaire. Why do you need this extra money at the expense of your most loyal, diehard fans? And there are some other risks involved with this as well, like making the whole cryptocurrency industry look scamish and look like a gimmick, when in fact, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum are very different and actually very legitimate and important technologies, unlike these meme coins. It was interesting to me to see that even some people, some insiders in the crypto space who were big Trump supporters, have criticized the president for this decision and this meme coin launch. It's absolutely preposterous that he would do this, said Nick Carter, founding partner at the crypto investment firm Castle Island Ventures, who describes himself as an avowed and explicit Trump supporter. They're plumbing new depths of idiocy with the meme coin launch. I think it's pretty telling if even many, and Nick was just one of several, super pro-Trump crypto people are criticizing this move. That suggests to me that my inclination that this is kind of gross is right. And Nick Carter pointed out another potential problem with this is the way that it opens itself up to influence peddling and potential corruption. Nick tweeted, "Something that hasn't been much discussed about the meme coin. Creating a bunch of personal meme coins opens the door to secretive foreign buyers trying to curry influence with our leaders. If you hated Hunter Biden's anonymous art sales, you should hate this too. Basically, we used to have an informal rule that presidents wouldn't start or run businesses that could pose a conflict of interest. Creating a bunch of meme coins and DeFi protocols opens the possibility to rampant violations of the Emoluments Clause, not to mention the obvious conflict of interest, given the fact that Trump can set crypto policy." I agree with this. Part of the appeal of putting a billionaire in office is supposed to be that he's already rich, he won't take bribes, he won't be subject to business influences of trying to make a name for himself or get wealthy like many people in the Biden family did. But this coin creates a very clear avenue through which people can financially influence the Trump family. Melania launched one herself as well, after all. And it's a big conflict of interest given that cryptocurrency policy will be a big thing in the Trump administration. And I also just come back to the Trump supporters out there who maybe don't know what they're doing, sign up for this thing thinking they're going to make money, don't read the disclosures, and boom, they're out huge sums of money. Is that really worth it when you're already a billionaire? This whole thing just feels gross to me and took the shine off the inauguration for me for sure, which was otherwise, a huge win for Trump in so many ways. But what do you guys think? Did you buy Trump's meme coin, and do you think it's harmless? Let me know in the comments below, and do hit that like button while you're at it. And with that, we'll wrap it up for today's show. Please do make sure you're subscribed, and we'll talk again tomorrow.